And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I'm your host, Dougie Almeida. Thanking you all for joining us here. I'm coming to you live from Simpsonville, South Carolina, where I'm blending in. And we apologize. We were actually off for 2 or 3 weeks, and for good reason. Some of you may know by now or may not have known. I lost my wife to cancer in the last couple of weeks. She had been battling it for about a year. Kept quiet about it. She didn't want to be one. She's not one of those people who are like wanted attention and having people, bother and have to, that stuff. So we apologize to so many of you that we didn't tell. And for those who we did, thank you for all your support and everything. So it is definitely a challenge. And I thought it'd be good because my good friend Steve Mudflap McGrew lost his wife, not to death as he would kind of hope maybe at this point, but to divorce. So now we're actually thinking as comics, like somebody said, I'm going to work. I'm going to be working at the Funny Bone in St. Louis this weekend over for Steve Trevino because what else am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I got to work. So Steve and I put our heads together. We're thinking about opening a tour called the Divorced and Widowed Comedy Tour. And without further ado, here's my good friend Steve McGrew. Everybody.
Oh, hey, look at me.
Yeah, what's up?
Look, I have to say my condolences first of all, but I knew I was one of the ones that knew, and but I was shocked to hear because I was hoping for the best, buddy.
Yeah. It was, this cancer thing, and bottom line is she went through all the treatments and everything for a year, almost a year, and then the surgery to remove it, and then we were thinking everything okay, it's great, it's gone. Then a couple months later, this shit metastasized and went all through the body and the liver. And it was just, and my wife's a trooper, man. She said, you know what? I'm not going to go through this chemo shit. I'm not going to live for 2 years, luckily or hopefully, and be sick all the time. She said, I'm just going to go out on my own terms. So that was my wife. She was badass. And, and she, let me tell you something. She didn't cry. Well, she did a couple times, but she didn't complain. You know what I mean? She didn't sit there and whine and bitch the
Yeah,
whole time, which God bless my wife. And, so, yeah. And, so I appreciate it. But you and I are basically, you are divorced. I think that's common knowledge now. And so you and I are basically going to sleep alone, waking up alone, and being home alone.
yeah. It's
Which,
kind of like being married.
yeah, you know what I mean? Um,
It
but
was like the joke. I go, I haven't been laid in 6 months. It's like being married.
yeah, well, I mean, that's true. It's been at least that long, if not longer for me, because when she was battling everything, it's been, same thing. It's been a while. So, man, I listen. I don't know. I mean, first of all, I have no interest in meeting anybody at the moment. I think it's going to be really odd for me just to worry about me. This is the first time in almost 30 years or so, even before that, my
Yeah,
parents, but that I have not woken up with basically the concern of another human being. Probably being right up there with obviously my own, if not even more.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
weird, odd. It's a really weird feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of we were together a little over 12 years, and basically she was one of those like a take charge kind of person. Like I'll do that and I'll order the groceries and you just make sure the rent's paid. I mean the
Right.
rent mortgage. More you make sure that just make sure we have a place to live and I'll take care. So all of a sudden I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I need something to eat in the house. Oh,
I know.
toilet. Where's the toilet paper? Where's the toilet paper?
Dude, it like the ring doorbell needs to be charged. And I don't know, my wife would always do that. I don't know where the thing is to open the thing or to charge it. I have no idea. I had a
Oh,
cleaning
you've
lady
got
come
one.
to the house. I got a cleaning lady to come to the house. I'm like, okay. But you're right. I've had so much food that people came here for the service and stuff. They brought me food. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
running out of stuff. Like I had to make tuna the other night. I'm like, tuna for dinner. It was,
Well, I'm
but yeah.
I'm back to. I did realize the other day when I was shopping, I ran over to the Dollar Tree just to grab some batteries, and I realized, hey, I should get some peanut butter while I'm here. And then it dawned on me, I'm shopping like I did before I was married.
Yeah.
I don't care what I eat. I don't care. Just give me
Yeah.
chicken a la king for $1.25. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my thing is I'm on a diet, so I'm trying to still eat, which is, but I haven't cooked in 30 years. I mean, my wife is. I used to I used to work in a restaurant, cook Italian meals. I taught my wife how to cook like chicken franchise, chicken parm, penny alla vodka, French, like all these different. But I stopped because she did it.
Yeah.
You know, just you're right. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get one of those meal plans. Maybe I'll like order one of those like meal plans where they deliver food to my house.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, like the commercial where they have like even the oven. You
yeah,
scan the box on the barcode and it knows how to
yeah.
cook it. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, that's idiot dummy proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and then there's a part of me that says, you know what? I'm just gonna get a bunch of chicken cutlets and just one day, like on a Sunday, just cook them all up. Cook like 7 or 8 cutlets. Put them in the
yeah,
fridge. You know what I mean? At night, pull them out, eat a little barbecue sauce.
yeah.
But then
Well, cutlets
vegetables.
are
Where do you get
perfect because
Where do you
well,
get vegetables?
well, I got my vegetables. I bought vegetables from Trader Joe's. They have
Uh,
these grilled vegetables frozen in a bag, which are great, and it's throw them in the microwave. And so
oh, good.
I'm a fan of the microwave.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I used that today. We had somebody had made pork sliders for the services, and I thank God because somebody put some in the fridge and that went bad after about a week. And then
Uh,
I had some in the freezer. I opened the freezer and I'm like, oh, there's like 2 things of this like this pulled pork. So I'm like, oh, that's what
yeah.
I ate for lunch today. Then a little pita, put in a couple pitas. But yeah, I mean, think about all the things like that. Like my wife paid the bills. You know what I mean? My wife had everything on her credit, everything on the bank. And I'm like, it was like pulling teeth trying to get her to show me how to do that in the last few weeks. I'm like, honey, I need to know how to pay the bills. You know what I mean?
Well,
Uh,
I was kind of like that going through the. Well, I'm still going through the divorce. It's not final yet,
yeah,
but I keep getting these, the lawyer letters. Well, they want to see your finances, so I screenshot bank. No, they want actual printouts. Well, I don't know where do I get that from. I'm
yeah,
lost. In the way things are worded, and I called the they just want to see the your bank statement. Well, why did you just say that instead of we need some weird lawyer language,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and yeah, because that never ends. You know what I mean? Like I got a bill from because the paramedics came in the night when she passed. And okay. So I really like the fact that I mean I have a scanner at home. You know what I mean? At least I have my office. So like
Yeah.
important documents, you can scan them and say, "Do you guys take an email?" Or have I still can't believe that people fax. Like who the fuck? Like there's people that still fax. I mean, what is this 1980? Can we
Well,
scan it and
I
email it?
fax with my phone.
Yeah.
You can do
Y-
that. You can actually there's a way to do it. Scan it like you would like your scanner, and then
Right.
it's electronic fax. Basically, you're just texting to somebody, but it's called
Yeah.
e-fax.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice little app for that. So. But yeah, you're right, and it's just to me. I don't know what the hell, how long it's going to take. Like obviously, we're a little different. My wife passed. Your wife, you are divorced. You're in the middle of divorce. So I imagine you want to get right back on the horse, right? Have you,
Well,
you know what I mean?
it's weird. I was talking to somebody about this because it's the combo. It's the should I try to be good and maybe in 6 months to a year we try to work it out like a love story on a Hallmark channel, or do I go
Mm.
screw it? I'm jumping right back on some whore.
Yeah, horse. Yeah. Yeah, see, my thing is like the one of the things that's going to keep me is I've got no game, dude. It's been so long. It's been 30 years since I've been with another woman. Like I mean, for some of my friends, you're a comic. It should be easy after the show. People are gonna, hey,
Yeah.
and like, oh, and maybe, but I feel like I got to make the excuse for being because I'm a horrible lover. Listen, my wife put up with it at the end. I mean, after so many years, it's not like you're a rookie coming out of the gate, coming out of the bullpen to impress people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of just,
Well,
you know,
Well, what happened was you got 30 years of one woman. You
yeah,
didn't have to learn all these different techniques or different massage, shiatsu and rock massage. You knew one technique and that's all you needed, and now
well,
you're
yeah.
out there with people going, that's just not cutting it. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, you're right about the. I used to massage. That was my big move because I knew how to massage. Straight, strong hands. Women would be like, "Oh, that's so good," and I would do it
Yeah,
all for the pussy because you're going as Otto and George
yeah.
used to say for the pussy, and 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 now in one of my jokes, I can walk through a room of naked women just to get to a refrigerator that has a pound of prosciutto. I'm not as motivated anymore for that. Like I've had all kinds of
Yeah,
pussy, and you know what I mean. It's like
yeah.
okay, because now I know it comes with the pussy, a pain in the
Well,
ass,
you you
arguing
sort
and hmm?
you sort of start to feel like you're a as you walk down the street and you realize nobody is actually looking at you. That you're kind of like the brute, the ghost, just moving down the street, going, "Hey, hey,
Yeah, I
hey,
remember. I remember
nobody
the day
sees
chicks used to
me."
look. I remember the day chicks used to take double take to me. That don't happen anymore, unless I got something on my lip or sticking out of my nose. Um, yeah, you know what I mean. And I have no idea, because it's not going to be fair. It's like they're going to just all I'm going to be doing is like comparing, I don't know. For me, I don't know. Maybe just get some Asian massages, to kind of deal with it for a little while. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But do you ever think you like I just might be done. But I may not do this ever again because I remember when my grandfather died. Uh, that my grandmother like she's like that's it, I'm done. And I remember guys at church, being like, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't want some old
yeah.
man, like like at some point you just go, "You know what, I'm done. It was good, I had a great one, but I think I'm just going to live the rest of my life the way I want to."
Well, it's interesting too. I didn't tell many people, but like my wife was buried here in South Carolina. Some of the family were questioning what's going on. I mean, the whole family were in against me, dude. I'll talk to you about. I don't want to put this on the air at the moment, but they completely turned into evil. Like the Khmer army was in my fucking house, and I had to kick everybody out, dude. It was brutal. The family just completely turned on me. Is it you to think that I gave her cancer? The way they were treating me all in the end went before she passed and after, and but yeah, I don't. I just. You're right. I can't like. I I don't know if like. I don't know if I could say that. Well, I was saying this. So she's buried up here, and guess I got a plot next to her.
So no
I've been with the
matter
woman
what,
30. Yeah, I'm going back.
yeah,
We're going to
you
be.
might you might remarry, but then the new wife has to go, "I got to bury him next to his other old lady."
Yeah, you know, And it was funny because when I went to the funeral director, I said, "Do many guys my age do this?" I mean, I feel like this is what I want to do, and they're like, "Yeah, some people then change their mind and they just don't use it." I mean,
Yeah.
that can happen. But then you have a plaque because it's weird
Hey,
because I
can
have,
you sell it? Can you sell it
yeah,
and have somebody else buried
is
next
it
to, like, when somebody
transferable?
go like 50% off? Yeah, I don't care who I spend
Yeah,
eternity next to.
yeah, yeah. Listen, you want to buy half my plot? You just have to lay next to my wife for
Yeah,
eternity.
put it on Craigslist. See what happens.
Yeah, and but the thing is, when I go to see her, it's going to have my name on it. It's going to say Douglas J. Almeida, and her before, like the born date without that one date, and that's going to be kind of weird. Looking at
Yeah,
that, like every time I go to see her, it's going to be like,
and then you
oh,
see like the long black robed guy with the sickle just sitting on your side.
just standing behind the tree. It's coming soon, son. Not long for you. And by the way, I've been a hypochondriac since this has happened. Every time I've been sitting for so long because I just went to the gym today finally after 2 or 3 weeks of just crying and sitting at home and doing all this stuff, paperwork and death
Oh yeah.
certificates and like and all this stuff. And so I got like a pain by my rib, and I'm like, oh, I must have liver cancer because I got pain by my rib where my liver. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
die. I just feel like the world's coming to
No,
an
I
end.
I totally get it because I got real sedentary right after the split up. Like you're depressed, you don't want to do anything, you don't even care about TV, and it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, and I felt like I was having pain in my back, and I thought it was my kidneys. I mean, seriously, I thought so. I went to the doctor, and she's like, "No, that's not your kidneys. I think that's just your back." So I go to my massage, the sports massage guy, and he goes, yeah, your legs, the muscles are all attacked together, and you haven't been using your legs, so everything is tightened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went, oh, so I'm
Absolutely.
not dying of kidney cancer. I mean, that's seriously, it's the
No.
same thing. You're like, oh, what is that? What
Yeah.
is?
Why does this hurt so
I mean,
bad?
we have to. You and I both, we have to keep moving, or it will go bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, in all the years I managed money, when somebody would pass and a spouse would survive, if they didn't keep busy or do something, it was not long for them. And
Yeah.
and definitely, and you're right. It's like, like with the comedy thing, I was blessed. Steve Trevino, good friend, called me to say his condolences, and he says, let's get you busy. So he's giving me like 4 or 5, 6 gigs all here on the East
Oh,
Coast
that's
to open
awesome.
for him. Yeah, I mean, I'll be at the Funny Bone this weekend in St. Louis, a club I've been trying to get in for 10 years, at least. You know what I mean? And now here I am going to be there this weekend. So I don't know what else. Somebody says, "Oh, did family say anything?" Listen, first of all, I don't give a shit what her family has to say. Like I said, they were booted to the street. Oh, dude, it was stuff was missing, all kinds of stuff. Like the day before my wife was buried, her mom came to collect some stuff that I wanted to make sure she took. I'm not going to use. But then she was going through stuff, and she took meat out of my freezer. She took eggs out of my fridge. I'm like, Ma, what do you think? I'm not going to eat meat or eggs anymore now that my wife's gone? I mean, what the fuck? So it was, and she dropped them dropped them on the driveway. It was just a big mess, dude. And it was just, you know,
Well,
so,
is that? And I'm not going to say, because I'm going to seem culturally insensitive. Is that a cultural thing of, like, you know that we go get her stuff?
yeah. I mean, it wasn't even the day after she passed. They're already in the in the bathroom getting some of her makeups and some of the things that she had in there. So her family. So it was just a fucking nightmare, dude, having them. And then, like I said, you know what? Everybody out of the house. That's it. I got to be by myself. And it felt good. That was because the minute I had that moment, I was just sitting in the house by myself. Everything was quiet. I swear, I heard my wife say to me, "Do what you need to do. It's time for you to do what you need to do now."
Yeah,
And here we are. So that's why I'm going to get busy. And um,
yeah.
you know, hey,
I had
speaking of
that
things that
wake
are,
up for. I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
I had that wake up epiphany a couple weeks ago. For me, was that's when I was like, okay, I've got to get moving. I cleaned the house. I started. I've been walking 5 miles a day, 2.5 in the morning and 2.5 at night. And it was that deal of, I have to make myself do this.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
if this never happens, if she never comes back or whatever, I still have to go forward.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's so easy, right? Because you're just sitting there, like, I'll be doing work, I'll be doing something, and be like, next thing you know, it's 12, 2 o'clock. I'll go to the gym later. I got to do this. The next thing you know, you're like, I don't feel like going anywhere. It's drizzling, it's raining. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, but like somebody said to me, they're like, well, be fine with that. There's no way to do it. You should be kind of chilling. You shouldn't be, trying, going nuts and crazy. So,
Right. But
who knows?
what's weird? What's weird is how stuff comes out of left field and just will whack you. I'm sure it'll happen if it hasn't yet. But like the other day, I stopped at the mall, went to get coffee. I was going to go do, and I was walking, and I looked past at this candy store that we used to go to get stuff to shoot videos. We had this video thing we did, Steve and Janet trying stuff. And I walked past this
Yeah.
candy store, and I just broke down crying in the mall. Like,
Yeah.
I actually had to go, like, hide for a second, because it was like that.
I had the same thing today when I went to the FedEx. I had to go drop off some for FedEx and stuff, and I drove by a place where, like, we usually eat, and I just started thinking. I was crying in the car, and I'm like, okay, I got to get my shit together.
Yeah.
Grown man crying. Um, well, what would you? We kind of went over some of this stuff. Let me ask you, but what's the best coping advice? I think we cover that. To keep busy, stay busy.
Keep,
Don't
keep
give up on
busy. Keep
yourself, right?
busy.
Yep.
The other thing that I'm doing is I'm writing. When I was in high school, I used to write a lot of lyrics. I used to want to, like, write songs and poetry. I actually won poetry contest in the state of Texas. And lately, I got back into. I'm trying to write lyrics again, and I've written a couple. I got a friend that's that's going to record one of them. Shake Russell down in Texas is going to record one of the songs, and so that's what I'm doing to actually make my mind like I'm trying to
Hmm.
rediscover myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a bad thing, right? Just do stuff.
Yeah,
You know, I even do little things like we all went out to dinner, like her friend and her father. I mean, her friend and her friend's father and our realtor friend. We all went out to dinner for Father's Day. And I usually like to get you at the place, this particular place, I'd get a steak or a ribeye. This time I got something different. I got salmon because that's what my wife used to always say, like, why don't you get something different? You always get the same dish. You ought to try something different. I'm like, you don't say that about women. And, it just gets, do you want me to start getting different taste? Um, but I did. So that was, some of the things that I do. But God, it's so easy when you're in the house to just say, fuck it. Just want, you know what I mean?
yeah,
There's nobody telling me what to do. There's nobody,
right.
expecting me to do something. It's like,
Well,
you know,
I know. Well, right now, I did laundry and I piled it on the in the dining room table. There's a pile of clean laundry, and I thought last night I should fold that laundry because I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm going to Reno to do shows. But then
yeah.
I started to do it, and I go, look, nobody's here. Nobody cares. I'll do it when
Yeah.
I get back from Reno.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's weird, right? It's weird when you share a home
Yeah,
with somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can walk out my underwear. Oh, I can, I don't have to brush
yeah,
my teeth yet. Or, it's just so weird.
yeah.
It's like,
I can
yeah,
fart and
yeah,
scare the cat.
yeah. But I don't have a cat. But let me ask you this: newly being single, what do you think you need to work on the most if you want to try to attract another woman, a new Mrs. McGrew?
I that's why I started walking again. I think it's the physical. I think it's the everybody's visual. If you look at somebody, you go, oh, that's attractive. So you kind of have to have at least the visual thing. And I thought,
Right.
I stopped going to the gym with COVID. I used to go like almost every day to ride the bike and do the 30-minute weight thing, and I haven't done it since COVID. That walking, I think that's for my doing is I've got to get back into actual like what do they call it, fighting shape.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to put it, and I agree. It's like I was going leading up to this. Since January, I've lost like 40 pounds. It's funny. My wife was joking around with, she's like, "Oh, here I am. I only have so much time left, and you're getting better. You're looking better and better." I'm like, "Well, honey." Um, but yeah, I
Well,
went
you
from
were trying to make
270.
her want to stick around.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, you don't want to miss any of this. You don't want to miss any of this."
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't want to leave this all alone, honey. But yeah, so and then, but obviously when this all happened, people came by bringing food. I went from 277 down to 235, and I was about the week before my wife passed. Then now I'm like 246 again. I gained like a 9 pound, 10 pounds back, all this food and shit. I had a
Yeah.
wholesaler, a lady, a good friend Tara from a insurance company, send me this condolence package, and there was cookies from a bakery in Jersey. And oh my God, Steve, these are the best fucking cookies you have ever eaten. Like I had one, I mean, like somebody bought chocolate chip cookies from the bakery, like
Yeah.
Publix or whatever the fuck. They're delicious, and the
Right.
the the white what's the white the nut macadamia and cookie and
Macadamia.
delicious.
Oh.
Yeah, but these cookies made in a bakery, like I had one, it was like a black and white cookie, like a little black and
Uh-huh.
white cookie with the chocolate inside. Holy shit, the chocolate inside was magical. I had one, and I'm like, I had a diet. I can't eat any more of this. 11 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there dying to go open the box again. Like I gotta have another fucking cookie. I'm thinking about the cook. There's like an assortment of cookies, and they're like they had like they look like what's the Pepperidge Farm, the Milano. They look like the Milanos, but they're dipped in chocolate, and they're thicker,
Ooh.
And I kept thinking
Ooh.
there was like that was alluring, like it was alluring to me. I kept thinking about it when I was on the couch, and I text the girl. I said, "You fucking bitch!" No, I didn't say it was that bad. I was like, "God damn it! You sent me these fucking cookies, and I'm on a diet." She's like, "Just put them in the freezer so you don't stare." And now I have them in the freezer. I can't see them, but they'll stay
Well,
good for a long
is
time.
she single?
I don't think so. She might be, but isn't that weird? It's like I've actually started. There's actually people, right, that I've known that have like, hey, I always kind of wonder what it'd be like dating that person. You know what I mean? Uh, you know,
Yeah, no,
But yeah, who?
I know. I know because some people that reached out to say, I'm so sorry to hear about that. I thought you guys were like perfect. I thought you guys were like that. We were shocked. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Haven't
I
heard
know,
from you in a while.
I
You know?
know, I know. It's like like some of your mutual friends. Like somebody who knew my wife. They coming to buy, going to Florida. It'd be like me calling up. Hey, you want to have a drink? You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just crazy. Hey, what would be a deal breaker if you met a woman? What is a dating deal breaker for Steve McGrew?
Liberal.
Yeah, right. Like the first, like, can you imagine a date and they say, "Boy, don't you love Joe Biden?"
Check,
Check,
please.
please.
See, I
Check,
can't. That's
please.
that. That is the one thing that has me really worried about it because
Yeah,
so many women it's it is women, a lot of women pretend, even if they aren't liberal, pretend to be liberal for the points,
yeah.
that, and like, oh, they've got the pride flag circle on their picture on Facebook,
Oh,
and you go, hey,
yeah.
you're conservative. Well, but I've got friends that, I don't even want to deal with that. You know what I
It's
mean?
worse. It's worse. Oh, and the people that still have the COVID, I'm vaccinated thing around their Facebook profile. I'm like,
Yeah, you're out.
what the fuck is wrong with you? Um, yeah, I think that's interesting. Like, I can imagine I'm dating somebody and they say, "Oh, don't you think all the pressure they're putting on Hunter Biden? I gotta go. Sorry, just got a call from fucking Batman. He needs me to help him with the Joker." Um,
Well,
you know what I
I
mean?
should have. One of the things that I probably should have picked up on my soon-to-be ex is I remember a few weeks before this went down, she actually said to me that Trump needs to step out. He wasn't going to get elected because he's got too much baggage, and people don't want don't want to deal with him. And I thought,
Yeah,
you know me, that's not something I would ever say.
yeah, yeah. That was a
But
sign.
she was always conservative. That was something that we always like. Well, she went to a Trump rally. She actually went to a Trump rally, and like,
Yeah.
this is not the person that I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one thing about my wife, very conservative. When we were looking at houses in the Carolinas, she's like, "No, we can't go there. It's too liberal. It's a liberal town." She would look at that kind of shit along. With that kid's the love of my life. I'll miss you, baby. Um, all right. Well, speaking of that, who is the worst Biden cabinet member? Kamala Harris, Mayor Pete, or Mayorkas? Who is the worst of those three useless human
Oh,
beings?
well, that is the trifecta of shit right there. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
pick.
Right? I mean, when
But
in
I would have
history
to
have we
go.
had this many people, like, in the cabinet that were so bad, you
Well,
know?
look, I mean, the entire administration is bad. If I mean, Biden can't do the job. He's. I don't know if you saw the other day. He was talking about just like it was like yesterday. We will get this done by 2020.
Yeah.
I could,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
like it's already 23. What year are you living
Yeah.
in, old man? Hey, President
Yeah.
Shuffle Shoes. So
Oh
he's
my god.
bad. Kamala's an idiot. Mayorkas is obviously can't do his job. The transportation secretary isn't qualified. He's only there because he checked all the boxes. I mean,
Yeah,
you
he
go down the list. The guy was the other guy from the administration stealing luggage, the cross dresser or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck he is, but he's stealing Nobody in his administration is worth a shit.
No, no, and a lot of people left. And yeah, the identity politics has obviously failed miserably. Jean Pierre saying whatever her name is, the White House spokesperson, considers herself historic now, which is amazing.
Yes,
She says
I'm an
she's
historic
historic.
figure.
Yeah, I don't think so, sweetie. Yeah, if anything, one of the worst, most sophomoric, White House spokespeople in history, to say the least. All right.
I'm the White House spokesperson.
Yeah. How dare you make fun of that mop like that? Um, all right. Here's a question for you. If given the choice of $2 million or a woman of your dreams, what would you choose?
$2 million, because then I could actually buy the woman of my dreams later.
Yeah, that would be the answer, but we know that money can't buy love. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like this is saying like this is definitely the woman. Like everything fits, everything's there. You would never have to, never argue again. You're going to be with them to the end of time, or $2 million. 2 million, huh?
Okay, well, you know the answer to that because if somebody said to you, Dougie, would you take $2 million or would you like your wife back?
Oh, I'd have my wife back. Yeah.
See, that's the woman of your dreams. That's the answer right there.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah. Yeah. And I have 2 million, so it'd be nice to have what I don't have.
what?
Um,
What?
exactly. Oh fuck! Here comes the IRS. Um, yeah.
87,000 guys with guns gonna be knocking on your door.
Yeah. Is that you praying in there? Put down the Bible, asshole. We're gonna shoot you. Um, right. Okay, so we had that. Oh, here's a fun story. Like, here's a question for you. What is your worst sexual experience?
Oh, probably the very first time because
Really?
I don't even know if it really. Yeah, because I don't even know if it really happened or not. You know what I mean?
So your first time is still a question mark? You don't know if that's officially the first time or not?
Yeah, I don't really know. You know, was it what did did it happen or was it between you and the couch? You know what I mean?
Wow. Mine was I met a stripper, pretty hot girl, Puerto Rican girl, super duper fine, and finally got her back to my apartment, got naked, went down to do a little oral gratification.
Downtown.
Went downtown, did the flyby, did the old flyby, and oh
Yeah,
my god, it was rancid. It was horrible. It was smelled like death, and I quickly stood up like I saw a ghost, and I basically said, I think I got to get going. This is a bad time, and I walked away, leaving this poor girl with
that
that nasty
that
ass.
sort of reminds me of the Bill Hicks thing of like, ooh, a kiss, kiss the leg, kiss the knee, kiss the foot, kiss the couch, kiss the carpet, kiss the driveway, kiss, you know.
Get the fuck out. Yeah, and all right. All right. So that's let me ask you, and listen, being that you're still going through it, I wish you the best with all that because I know how horrible that could be because that's like an ever changing. Like with me, there was a little bit of, like people, it's like my mother in law was trying to give away my wife's Jeep. She was like saying on the way to the airport, my wife wasn't even buried yet. My mother in law was like, "You should give the Jeep to her daughter." I'm like, well, it's my Jeep. It's not in her name. The Jeep's in my name. I still owe money on it.
Right,
You know. I
right.
mean, what else? What else of mine do you want to give away? That is I'm still trying to fathom everything that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just unbelievable. So who
Well, you
knows?
know the weird thing that and I don't I it's weird to say this, but you know where that your wife has now passed on and gone to heaven. You're not opening your email on your phone and wondering if you're going to get a letter saying I really screwed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
Right.
like for a fact what's happened. My life, I just feel like it's just I'm floating around. You know?
Yeah. That's definitely weird, right? You still, because in the back of your mind, you're still thinking there's a chance like things could work out. Like a lot of times, people, that something happens and they change their mind.
Yeah,
That's got
get
to be
out there and
crazy,
go. Oh, but this isn't what I wanted. You know?
right? Yeah, because the grass is always greener, right? The women, they hear their
Right.
cackling hen friends, oh, and then they start
Right.
dating, and people like, oh, this is fucking horrible. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
that's what honestly what has happened. Somebody asked me about because I this is my fourth. This will be my fourth divorce, and
oh shit.
yeah, and because I didn't want to get married this time. I had told her when we first started dating, I'm not good. Apparently, I'm not good at marriage. You know. And 7 years in, she was like, "Well, yeah, I really want to get married. You know, you've been married before. I love you. Blah blah blah." And my mom was like, "You should marry this girl. She stayed with you 7 years. You know, this is
Right.
so." So that's I actually did it because I wanted to get married this time. So that's why it's worse. But my point being, I got a letter from my first wife because she left because she said I was the only person she had ever dated, and she didn't know she'd made the right decision. Well, a year and a half later, she realized she had screwed up. She told me that. I wrote me a big letter. I made the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah.
Too late. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing happened with my third wife. I was out. She got wanderlust because I was on the road too much, doing comedy, and she kind of drifted. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah.
same thing. I made a big mistake. I can't. I screwed things up so bad. So I think that happens. People think it's better out there, especially when they hang around with their single girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I
It's
wish I
bad.
could go out anytime I want to. I wish I could just, get drunk with the girls tonight.
Yeah.
Well, go do it
Yeah.
and see how it lasts.
Yeah. Find out after doing it for 3 weeks in a row, how,
Yeah,
because that's the thing. I'll go like after like, especially here in Greenville, they got a really nice, they got a nice nightclub underneath the comedy club. So at the end of the show on the weekend, if I ever want to
yeah,
realize how old I am, I just go down there and watch all these young people hanging out. And I'm like, there's no
right.
way. Like, if I'm going to meet somebody again, it's going to have to be, in the grocery store, or, through like comedy, eventually somebody,
Well,
where else am I going to meet somebody?
so you're not gonna take the app route. You're not gonna get on Grinder, Tinder, Spanker, Widower, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I don't know. Like I said, there's actually, I don't know if there's not people I'm interested in, but I would imagine there's probably people like my regular circle of friends. Like I go back to Florida, there's gonna be a lot of people I went to high school with. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna probably say, "Oh shit, Doug's single." Who
Yeah,
knows? You know, maybe get to finally bang the hot cheerleader I've been always trying to bang since high school.
yeah, because she's not hot anymore.
That's right. She's got less. She's what is she going to say? No after this time. All right.
Yeah, she has more hair on her chin than you do now.
Exactly. I look younger than her. And that's the thing. I noticed like people my age, women that my age, do not look as good. I don't look my age. I look like I'm about 10 years younger. You know what I
Well,
mean? So
that's the
that
same. That recently just happened to me. Um,
yeah.
because I'm the same way. I people always guess me, seriously guess about 10 to 15 years younger than I am. That they because I
Right.
always people they go, what do you think? You know. So I was at a bar and there was some flirty conversation, and I was thinking, oh, she's cute, kind of thing, and she said, oh, how old are you? And I said, well, how old are you? And she said, well, I'm 35. And I went, well, that's my son's age. So I never said how old I was, but I felt it go, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this
So
can't
much.
happen. This.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like. I think the only thing, if and when that ever happens, I think the fact that I'm just so confident, I have so much other shit going, that I think that might be my key. Like I'm gonna look. Look, I'm pretty well done. I've got some. You got some. I'm pretty solid financially. I got, a pretty smart guy. I have my shit together. If I keep losing weight, I want to get down to 200 pounds. I want to lose another 40 pounds, and then maybe people will take second looks. Maybe I'll just become
Yeah,
a real asshole. Maybe I'll become like the Matt Riff of old men comedy. Maybe like women will just start throwing themselves at me. You know what I mean?
you're
And who
right.
knows?
Right.
And
You could be the dad bod of comedy.
dad bod of
Because
comedy.
women swear they love the dad bod, right? But
Yeah,
apparently they
yeah,
don't.
yeah. They love it until they have to like, oh, we're gonna make love. Can we turn the lights off, please? How about some candles? Can I use candles? Yeah, candles. I'm at that. I've lost enough weight that I can make love with candlelight. That's a joke I was trying to figure out the other day how to tell. Um, you know. All right, so let's get into Did You Hear? We got a lot of shit that's happened. Our first story: White House bans trans influencer for flashing breasts, which were fake, at a Pride event in the Rose Garden of the White House. I'm sure you had seen this,
Oh yeah,
being the staunch Republican you are. And
yeah.
listen, and let me just say this: I've said this a bunch of times on news feeds. The gay community, God bless, they, do it. I don't care about gay marriage. I never gave a shit about that. Whatever somebody wants to do, God bless. It's your life. I'm not going to tell you how to live it. I'm not going to sit there. And if you tell me how I feel about homosexuality, I'll give you my own personal feeling about it. but I have nothing, for anybody who is that, I care less, right?
Yeah.
Transgenders, my nephew is a transition in the late 17, 18 years old, very, I consider it a mental disorder. I think it's a horrible thing for somebody to feel that way. And then we all know that in the last several couple of years, they've gone after to groom our children, indoctrinate our children, and kinds of shit. So they fucked up. The LGBT
Yeah.
community fucked up. They're
They
erasing
attached their
decades of
wagon to the
progress.
wrong horse.
And there's fractions amidst the LGBTQ communities right now. Ty Rivera is a great
Yeah.
comic in Texas. He has a great podcast that talks about it. If you want to
Yeah.
edify yourself, go to listen to Ty's
Ty's great
podcast.
about it.
Yeah, and he knows because he's a gay man. And it's true. And you watch this, you're saying you're watching all the progress of the LGBTQ community over the last few decades is eroding. It's going away because people
Yeah.
people are tearing up rainbow flags now. Kids in schools are saying, "Fuck this." Enough of this
Yeah.
bullshit. Because that's what America's saying. Enough of this horseshit. Live your life.
Yeah.
We don't, I don't go to work every day and go, I love pussy. I just love titties in my face. That is not what I fucking need to do when I go to work. No one gives a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
But
the
that's
thing.
the
The
only.
America.
But see, that's what pisses people off is that they do that, and no one's allowed to say, "Shut the fuck up and go back to your desk." Like if you did it,
Yeah.
if you walked into the office and went, "I love pussy," nobody's gonna go, "You're so brave."
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
That's what.
What a
That's
hero.
what. You can't come in and go, "I just love my new titties."
Yeah. Yeah. It's just and the thing is, we all know, like, listen, first of all, everybody wants to be treated equal, but then you're starting to make demands on people. I'm not making demands on you. I'm not demanding you treat me or call me a sir. It's all lost. And all the children, I think it's just going to get darker days for them. But not a good sign when the first chance you get, Pride Month, and you're out on the White House lawn and you're saying, this is a good time for me to show my titties, my fake fucking cans.
But you know what that shows? That shows what the true basis of it is, which is like a weird perverted sexuality, because they couldn't just show up, like you said, show up and be like, thank you, we're happy to be here. Like, no, this is who we
Yeah.
are. You
Yeah.
know what I
It's
mean?
not
It's so
sexual.
the
It's not a
underlying
paganistic
truth
thing.
is this is who we are.
Yeah, this is what we really want. It's all about sexual
Yeah.
stuff, and I agree. Um, President Joe Biden accused of trying to grope Eva Longoria. Well, I might as well too if I was, had her in my hands. She's pretty
He got
hot.
some titty thumb action.
He did after joking about knowing her since she was 17 years old. Many people who watch the video say that as they hugged, as he brushed away, he left his hand out, which is a pervert move. I know perverts that do it on
Did the
purpose.
thumbs.
They
He did
hug
the.
and yeah. Um, what
Well,
a
but
fucking
he's
perv.
done that joke before. That's one of his stupid jokes of like, she was 13 and I was 40, or she was 17 and I was 4. He thinks that's a funny joke, which basically is just saying, I'm a perv.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
When you repeat the same pervy joke over and over.
Yeah. God save the queen, by the way. And this fucking guy. We all know it. I mean, he's not going to finish his term. Let's be real. Something major will happen, and he will not be able to finish his term.
Well, how many times? You know what I love is how many times have you seen him finish talking and turn and go this way? Do I leave? Oh,
Yeah.
this way. I leave this way. Okay, and then somebody has to come over and act like he doesn't even know how to leave the podium.
Yeah. Yeah. The leader of the free world can't even find a way away from a podium. Fucking horrible. Another story: queer and trans nuns protest at Dodgers Pride Night, receive an award. This was an
Now,
interesting. We
let
have
me
some
ask you.
photos.
Let me ask you a question about this.
Yeah.
You know that they were invited and then they were uninvited.
Right.
And then they got re-invited back because of the friction they caught from the LBTGQ plus IRS or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they decided not to piss off the smaller group. That's what I don't understand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How many more Catholics and Christians is there than people that want to hang upside down pretending they're Jesus on a cross?
Yeah, and how many people are Christians and God-fearing people as opposed to somebody who wants to use a crucifix as a, as a
Dildo.
sexual tool? Yeah, and
Right.
listen, the Dodgers lost that day 15-0, which is the biggest loss they've seen in over 80 years, which
God
hopefully
hates the
this will be
Dodgers.
great. Yeah, no, I think God needs to punish the Dodgers. I think the whole organization is going to go to hell in a handbasket. They will never win a fucking pennant again. Wouldn't this be great if, like, the curse, like like what happened with the Boston Red Sox? Like, this is
Yeah.
what's going to happen. Like, the Dodgers aren't going to win a fucking pennant now, and they'll keep showing that picture of the face painted fucking nun pagan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you think about it, like, it's like, people haven't learned. Look at Bud Light. Look at Target. These this is, thank God, right? Thank God that's happening, in that companies now have to
Billions.
go, like Disney, right? Disney,
Yeah.
Disney's the Little Mermaid, fucking first of all, I've watched some clips of it. It's horrible. Second of all, I don't care if I really don't give a shit what a mermaid is, white, black, or not. But can she at least be attractive? The Little Mermaid girl looked like some fucking girl that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a fucking, like a middle school girl, like an average looking pale. Like, this is a fucking mermaid. She looks like somebody hit her in the
Yeah.
face with a fucking frying pan.
Mermaids were always supposed to be hot. Like there's some kind of weird
Yeah,
hotness siren thing to them.
yeah. And this girl looks like a girl, like your waitress at Waffle House. I
Well, the
I
new
just,
the new movie tanked. The new movie just came out,
yeah,
the
yeah.
animated one. It
Oh,
tanked. I mean, it made
oh,
like
the,
20 something million.
oh yeah, the one about the
Elementals or
fire and the stuff. Yeah, the
yeah,
elemental. Yeah. Well, listen, Disney. Disney is in deep shit, and it's a good sign that America is speaking, and they're saying enough of this shit. And I really do think, again, with the homosexual, the gay thing, it's just going to get worse. People are going to really just get ugly about this, and we're going to see darker days ahead for those groups. But companies like that, like, you see another company coming out with some horse shit, it'll be interesting. But I definitely see that that's going to wane itself down. Um, Video emerges that reportedly shows Conor McGregor leading rape accuser into the bathroom. Now, poor Colin McGregor, the UFC fighter and person who brings up Proper 9 or Proper 11 whiskey. He was definitely high on cocaine that night. He was doing a lot of this shit. And when you watch video of
oh
him,
well, he
and if you
was.
see, oh yeah, he punched the mascot, Bernie the mascot, which good, because Bernie's an asshole. I was a season ticket holder for the Miami Heat for many years when Shaq was there and all the way through LeBron. And Bernie's an asshole. He came up to me one time in a game and fucked with me, and I'm like, what, fucking Bernie, you know what I mean? And so I'm glad he got his clock cleaned that night. And but then I don't know if you saw this story about Colin McGregor. He's got engaged. He's with a woman having a baby, and this woman that he supposedly took into the bathroom so she can give him a smoke him slow was a
Yeah,
pig. She was a pig.
yeah,
She looked
yeah.
huge.
It was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger maid hookup.
Exactly. She did. She looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger's fucking maid. You know what I mean? When she was sitting on the thing when they were talking after, she looked like a fire hydrant. I was like, like, why isn't anybody talking about this? You know what I mean? I mean, not like Colin McGregor's a good looking dude, I mean, but fuck, I mean, you can't
He
find a
could do
hotter
better than
chick to
that.
bang. Yeah, and then she
Yeah,
she accused him of supposedly forcing him to give him a blowjob and all kinds of stuff. Then she's hanging out with him after. She's hanging out with him
yeah.
after, like bullshitting with him. Like, who does that? Who gets forced? Like, who sucks a guy's cock, and forced and, oh, stop it, this is horrible, stop it, this is horrible. And then after go, oh, so what do you want to do next? What are we gonna do now? We're gonna go fucking to Denny's or something?
Well, yeah. Here's what I don't understand. Look, see that how that happens?
Yeah, yeah. Keep your mouth shut, stupid. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah,
Why? Why?
but
Why? Why am I doing this? Why? Why?
you got to respect me. This is a great story. Homeowner slept in a closet with a gun to confront the man who had been squatting in his house for months. A gentleman came back from New Zealand or some shit from a long trip in Florida, found out his
Yeah, he was,
house was ransacked,
and somebody
and
was living
got a
in it.
yeah, he got a gun, was in the closet. The guy came home, got an argument. What are you doing in my house? This is my fucking house. Yeah, okay. Shot the door. Guy went to call the cops that somebody was in his house, which wasn't his. He was then arrested. Great fucking story. You know, squatters. I mean, if
I
somebody
just thought
came in my,
when I read that, I thought it was awesome. You know, that I am just going to sit here and take out. I'm going to, I'm finally going to get to use this thing.
yes, my house. Great fucking story. The guy calls the cops that somebody's in his house. Oh, you want to show me your papers? Oh, well, I kind of just moved in on my own.
Yeah, well, the
Great
window
story.
was open.
Yeah. Our next story. She was at Dollar General in just a towel, and then it came off. Florida police say young man videoed it on his TikTok. Didn't see it because I couldn't imagine how she looked, but a woman shows up at Dollar General in a towel, and then somebody, I guess the kid asked her when she was over by the gas station earlier, like, why are you wearing only a towel? And the lady says, oh, I was too lazy to get dressed. Which I
Yeah,
felt bad. I said, that sounds
that
like
was my
me now.
favorite.
That sounds like me. I don't want to get dressed in the morning. I'm like, do I even have to brush my teeth? No, my wife's not here. I don't give a fuck. I'm not. I'm going to walk around
You're
a
going to
towel
go out to the
myself.
newspaper and your towel is going to fall off.
Yeah, exactly. It barely gets around as it is. Thank God I lost weight.
Well,
It's really
she was
embarrassing.
lazy when she went to the Dollar General. She didn't
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I don't have the energy to go to the mall. I'm just gonna go to
Yeah.
Dollar General.
Yeah, I can't. I'm carrying my money. I don't have pockets in my fucking, my blanket. Uh,
What would you
and of
do if you?
course,
What would you do? What would you do if you were at Dollar General and you saw a woman come in a towel? Would you
well,
snap pictures for your Instagram account, or would you at least
oh,
try
I
to?
mean, I would watch. You try to pull the towel away. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. It depends on what she looks like. What's that scene? Remember in Fletch, the woman comes to the door in a towel, and the Fletch,
Uh huh.
Tom Chevy Chase answers the door. It's like, "Hi, I'm Fletch." She goes, "Oh, do you mind if I borrow your towel? I just hit a water buffalo outside your house." you know, I just hit a water buffalo. I mean, gratuitous nudity is always great. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When you see nudity in public, even if it's a dude, it's funny just to watch somebody nude in public. It's like a really odd thing. I mean, if you're not at a
Yeah.
beach and just all of a sudden you're at a library, and all of a sudden somebody's
Yeah.
naked, or you're in a Dollar General or some shit. So,
Well, it's weird.
yeah,
You ever catch a booby in the wild by accident?
yeah.
There's nothing like a free range booby that you just like, whoa, like you bend down for something at the same time, and you're like, oh, ooh, sorry about
Oh
that.
yeah.
You know,
Then you feel
you
bad.
know.
Like I was at the gym today. And some girl was on the bench, and she was benching and struggling. I just looked over and I was on the bike, and I saw right up her crotch. It's like open. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, and then I looked the other way, like, oh, I'm not looking.
I
Sorry,
know.
I'm a
That's the thing.
perv.
You go, oh, I wasn't supposed to see that.
Yeah, I didn't try that. I didn't try to see that. God bless. Oh God. All right. And then our last story, well, not our actual story, but AI finds conservative women more attractive and happier in photos. Yes.
Are we shocked?
Um, we're not shocked by that. Liberal women are pissed. They're always angry. They're trying to fight for
They're
something
always purple haired or pink haired or spiky haired or 14 different eyeshadow colors or no makeup at all. I mean, pick
yeah,
whatever bad combo goes together, and
yeah,
that's what you get.
yeah. I'm not going to put any conditioner in my hair. It's like, all I know is when I see that, like, there are deal breakers. Like my deal breakers, a woman who has a nose ring in her nose. None. I
That
can't.
new one right
I
here.
I can't deal with that shit. You know what I mean? If you have a fucking, what do you like? Can I put a chain on there and pull you around? Like I don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's too fucking bovine. You know what I mean? It's bovine.
Yeah,
Bovine. I don't know.
you
The
say
two words.
tomato, I say tomato.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're ugly. Like this colored hair shit. When I see somebody with blue fucking hair, like especially at the airport, and you see these women, and they're all pigs. They look like they're lesbians, and like those are the lesbians. You're like, fine, you guys should be lesbians. You're fucking disgusting looking. You're 190,000 pounds. You got three colors have hair. You know what I mean? You got
Men
hairy
suck.
armpits. Yeah, your forearms are bigger than mine. So God bless. And
Yeah,
our
but
last story
I think what it is conservative women are happier, so you probably have a smile. There's a smile is going to
yeah,
make you appear prettier and
yeah,
more attractive. If you're just
yeah,
like,
much better.
I'm angry that Trump, I'm
You always
angry that
pissed?
you conservative MAGA
Yeah,
pissed me off.
yeah. TDS can cause wrinkles, and I'm definitely like that. Women, conservative women are happy. They know that they know reality. They're not sitting there, complaining about every fucking thing on earth. You're right.
Yeah, and a
Um,
lot of liberal women have dicks too.
yeah, that's a differentiator. Let's face it. There's a good percentage of liberal women who actually can scratch their balls at night when it gets a little hot and sticky. Um, so they'd be unhappy
That's
that those
I just don't
faces.
want a girlfriend that goes, is this your dude wipes or mine?
Yeah. Somebody said that. Somebody posted on Facebook. What are some words you'd hate to hear a woman say? Oh, my balls itch. That was one of mine.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so my balls itchy. All right, our last story. Earth spin shifted and humans are to blame. Yes, many fatties. You think it's a bunch of fat fucking people that are causing the Earth to tilt. But it's not. It's actually our use of water and groundwater, which is effectively changing our movement on our Earth. So
really.
amazing what you learn
So
here on the Wake Up Blade with Duggie.
the water change inside the earth changed, so it kind of makes it wobble in a different way.
Yeah, different shift. And I was reading too about molten rock, how there's the way the core has changed and shift, which is causing that kind of
Yeah,
shift, which can cause a deluge. If the Earth really changes its fucking polar ports, whatever they call it, the polar cap, it changes the polar aspect of it. If we switch, that's when we get
yeah,
major floods. Could you imagine if the Earth's going like this and all of a sudden it changed and we went like this? All the fucking water is going to just tilt over into the continent.
yeah.
That's
Well,
why I live in the mountains
I
of
don't know if you know, like today was supposed to have been the day what was that Greta whatever her Thornburg or
Thunberg. Yeah,
Thorn.
yeah.
But today was supposed to be the day that she said the world was going to end. Remember, like 5 years
Oh
ago,
yeah,
she said we got to do something. Today was the day. And
yeah, yeah.
this whole climate thing, to me, the Earth, we're not killing the Earth. The Earth would shake us off long before it lets itself
Yeah.
die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Earth has been
Yeah.
here for billions of years, and it's cycled.
Yeah.
There, when they drill down through like polar ice caps and they hit another thing that are thousands of feet, they don't pull out part of a hood of an SUV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been several different periods
Yeah.
of
I believe that.
reality.
I believe that wholeheartedly. There's been other life forms on this planet that were more advanced than we know, and their advancement is on you can't follow it. Like us, if we have no more books, where are you going to find books? Like the older,
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. If things, and if the world does do that, like you have droughts in certain areas. They just found a church in Mexico that came up in a big fucking lake that's drying out.
yes, I
It's
read
like
about that. The lake went down and
yeah,
the steeple came up. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, that's what
who
I read
knows?
an article the other day, and it really pissed me off because the stupid people. It's the stupid people, and it has to go back to our education system. But it was a thing about because I'm a amateur treasure hunter. I use my metal detector and all that kind of stuff. And it was an article about this this hidden temple that they found. They were digging and they found this hidden temple, and it looked like a mountain. But once they started digging, they realized it was, and all these people were commenting like, "Oh, that's fake. Like, how would it be? How did it get under
Yeah,
there? That's like you don't understand how things have been buried in the desert of Egypt. You don't understand how the earth has shifted and ground. You don't understand how sediment comes out of a river. Like, you know,
yeah,
there's just stupidity in people.
yeah. There's like some people would say that certain mountains have like seashells on them because they may have been covered
Yeah,
with the ocean at one point. Completely
yeah,
different topography on it. You're right. And hey, listen, who the fuck knows? I believe in that like Matrix thing where there were six Zions before. Basically other Earths. And we're all
yeah.
listen. You know, it's just ridiculous that in this country, everybody has forgotten God. There's this growing move to forget God and think that God was wrong. There's more than one gender. Anybody who says that, like, oh, God didn't make a mistake. You were born the way that you were fucking born, so you can deal with the
Yeah,
challenges you had to
and
fucking
you have
deal
to
with,
deal
and
with
however you
that.
handle it. That's your
Well,
challenge,
here,
right?
let me ask you this, because you brought up God, and this has always been one of my things. Right? Like I've always been sort of a church goer. I've been reading the Bible again. I kind of got looking. When something happens, you're trying to
Oh, that's gonna
find
get you.
a new
That's gonna
meaning.
get you a lot of
So I've been
pussy. That's
reading.
gonna get you a lot of pussy, Stevie.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
gonna get you a lot
but
of pussy. I've been reading Ezekiel lately.
but when people say they don't believe in God, like even the Big Bang Theory, like something, and then came something started that.
Right.
Even if that's what you want to believe, something is bigger than the two molecules that hit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So how do you not ever believe that something is a higher power? That's what I don't understand. You can deny all you want to, but something started it. No matter where it
Yeah.
started or how it started, something started it.
Ancient alien theorists would say yes. I love that part of that show. But could it be that aliens helped build the pyramids? Ancient alien theorists say yes. Of course they fucking do. Um,
Yeah,
well, you know, yeah, there's definitely a higher power. There's a primal mover. Whatever that is, old man with a beard. I have faith in that
yeah.
it's somebody who's a lot more pious than anybody on this earth as we see it.
Well, let me tell you.
Speaking of it,
This is good. This is the weird thing. This is where I think Dr. Seuss was actually smarter than a lot of people think. I've always thought of the Earth. You remember the book Horton Hears a Who,
mhm,
where the elephants got the clover, but there's little things living on the clover, but they don't know. That's how I feel about the Earth. Like we think we're it. We think we're, but that doesn't mean that there's not like more stuff on the clover. Then the clover goes out, and who's
yeah,
holding on to the piece of clover that's got all this stuff on it? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's amazing how, when you're a kid, you think the sun goes around you. You know,
Yeah,
you think the sun kind of lands in the dirt and it comes back on the other side, and then you realize, yeah, the world doesn't revolve around you. You are revolving around it. And then you realize,
yeah,
oh, we're going around the sun. And now people are starting to say, well, not only are we not only going around the sun, but the sun is going around another major object. And that object is actually circling around other objects. So we're just in this constant state of movement and all that shit. Listen, I believe in the philosophy. I don't know what I don't know. That's, like Socrates said, I'm the smartest man on earth because I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm always in
yeah.
this mode of discovery. I'm always in a position of discovery. And I think more people need to wake up and do
Well,
that.
that's I.
And
I did a thing. I do a thing called Noodle Chat sometime where I eat noodles and talk online. And last night we were talking about how I have this attitude, like what made me think of. You said, well, I don't know what I don't know.
Mhm.
Is my attitude has always been, if somebody says something, I don't act like oh, that's not true. I'll go, you know what? I need to look that up, because
Right.
that's always been my attitude. If somebody makes a definitive statement, that I'm going to go online and try to find out if that's the truth. Where a lot of people just hear something and that's it. You
Yeah.
know,
Either dismiss it
I'm a
or
firm believer, and I don't know, so I'm gonna look this up.
yeah. I have certain things I believe that that I would say I've studied and worked through, but for the most part, I'm pretty, if I hear something, I'm gonna always be willing to hear another, like, oh, okay. That was the one thing, like,
Yeah,
and was going on in our family here when everything was going on with my wife. It was like, I was we knew that my wife was battling, as it was hospice end of life care, you know, but other people in the
yeah,
family were still thinking she was going to be saved. For some reason they thought this was going to go away, and I was like, I'd like to, I want to believe there's miracles and trust me, but at the same time, I'm not worried. Like, it's like they're worried about what she was going to eat. I'm like, you worried about her digestive system? You know what I mean? Let her have a glass of wine. Let her have a slice of pizza for all we. You know what I mean? I mean, shit.
yeah,
If that was me, you
yeah.
think I'm going to give a shit about my stomach when my liver's about to fail? Like, You know what I mean? Like it just,
Yeah.
you're right. There comes a time where you want to learn and stuff, but there's another time where people just pushing shit, and you're like, all right, enough of this nonsense. Um, I forgot to ask you this question, but do you want to go on a sub ride? Do you want to go see the Titanic? You think that you want to maybe spend a couple $250,000 with me, Steve, and the widow and the divorce
I
guy?
would
We
love
can
to
go
see
spend our.
I would love to see the Titanic, but not in a sub that's driven by a game controller.
Fucking, isn't
Did
that
you
the
see
worst?
that? They
Yeah,
actually use a Logitech, like a
yeah.
game controller. That
When I
should have
get
been
on a
my fun.
fucking
I'd have walked away. No, not going. Sorry, not doing it.
no, what? What? That's the steering wheel. Like when I get on an airplane, I look at like when you're getting on the plane, you're about to walk on it from the bridge, whatever they're
Yeah.
called, the gate, and then you're
You look
looking at
in the
the engine
door.
and the side of the plane. Does it look rusty? And I would have saw that.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? Am I $250,000 for a guy with a fucking controller? That
Yeah.
only goes down. I mean, just
Yeah. Who tells you,
it's
hey, watch out. You might step on a live wire back there. Be careful.
yeah, yeah. Do me a favor. If you feel moisture, let me know, please.
Yeah.
If you if you feel a little water, let me know.
That's one of the things you look for. Like you were talking about the airplane. I've always had this thought, like, when you get in a cab, there's always like a backup, like the license is on the back of his chair and it's got his picture on it. I've always thought
Yeah,
that should have been like you get on an airplane, you should be able to look at your pilot and go, no, I'm not flying with this guy.
yeah, right.
He
Yeah,
obviously is he doesn't look
guy's got a
right.
bot. The guy's got like cross
Yeah.
eyes and shit. This is pilot. This is Pilot Steve.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you've
Oh,
looked at some
good.
cab drivers' pictures and thought, I hope I
Yeah,
make it home.
yeah, no doubt. Well, I think we may have something here. The divorce and widowed comedy tour. Um, I'm actually debating whether I'm going to mention it on stage this weekend. Like, should I bring it up and then tell my jokes that reformatted to be that way? My wife this way,
Yeah.
my wife jokes, tell them that way. I was going to talk to Steve about that before I went on stage this weekend, but
Well, that's what
some
I'm
people ask me,
rewriting. I'm rewriting. That's a lot of my stuff. I have to.
yeah,
I will say I'm going through a divorce. So if I say my wife, I mean my soon-to-be ex-wife. I'm trying to set things up differently because
yeah,
you've got this structure in your head. I'm sure you do too.
yeah, because it doesn't feel honest. I'm going to say, hey, my wife. Yeah, I feel like I should somehow come out and say, look, I recently lost this, and what a woman. She was. My wife was so bossy with me. She kept me in line. Like, for example, then tell the joke I would tell. Like
Yeah,
just reset it in a certain way because I want
yeah,
to be honest, but you know,
yeah.
where
And
I'm
then you
at on
might get some
everything. So.
pity cookie.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Somebody will, oh, you lost your wife. Oh, that's
Oh,
you probably need
let me
sex. You
take you
probably,
back to my house and cook you breakfast.
yeah, and you probably haven't been held in a long time. No, I haven't.
I haven't been
Uh,
held. You know what else hasn't
yeah,
been held?
yeah, my dick. My dick is wondering if the apocalypse has occurred because it hasn't seen
It
anybody
thinks
else
it
in a
died
long
too.
time. Yeah, yeah, my dick is going. Where is everybody gone? Um, yeah.
Anybody here see my old friend Nookie?
Well, buddy, I love you, and I'm thinking about you all the time, hoping you get through it. And now as we're both people
Back
sitting at
at you.
home watching the fucking ceiling at night, and you know what I mean, in the morning. Because
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, and for a split second, I feel like it's just a bad dream. Like I'm waking up from a
I
bad
know
dream.
it's really. I thought that same thing. Some days, you feel like because nothing has changed in the house. You're in your house. I'm in my house. Nothing has really changed. I mean, locations of things, and I feel like sometimes when I come out of the bedroom, that she will just come out of the bathroom and go, "It was a bad dream," like Dallas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you're right. I'll get up in the morning, make coffee, and I'll be sitting there like turn on the TV, turn on CNBC first thing in the morning when I get up at 7, 8 in the morning. I'll be just watching that, and I'll be drinking my coffee, and I'll look over. I'm like, I'm just waiting for her to come walking out. It's like
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy. But
I was
well,
sitting there having my coffee, waiting to hear somebody. I should have known you were watching Newsmax. Oh,
yeah,
she's still
right.
here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you're gonna head to Reno, huh? We doing Laugh Factory in Reno?
Laugh Factory Thursday through Sunday, and then I come home for a few days, and then I go to Tulsa, Looney Bin in Tulsa. So
Yeah, they closed.
I
They
actually
closed
started filling
Wichita
up my
Looney Bin.
calendar because I got nothing to do, you know.
Yeah, well, that was I'm from August through the end of the year. I'm pretty booked, thanks to Steve and a few other things, Steve Juno. But yeah, they closed the Looney Bin in Wichita. It's going to be closing. If
Just
you
saw
saw
that
that,
yesterday. That's sad. 23 years. I worked there from so when it opened, you know. That
yeah,
was a great
great,
comedy town.
great little town. You know, it was a great room. You had the condo in the building, so basically you would
I
walk
love
from the
it.
couch, right? You'd smoke a joint, walk from the couch, and you go right through
And
the
then you're
back
on
door
stage.
into the club, and then you're on stage, and then you're done. Even when you get off stage, when you're done, especially if I'm not headlining, I go
Yeah.
back and sit in the room and for 20 minutes and chill.
Yeah.
Gonna miss that.
And I love the fact
It's
that the condo had no windows. You know,
yeah,
next thing you know, it's like, oh, is it 2 in the afternoon? Ooh, I
yeah.
better get up. You know.
My first time there, I slept till 2 in the afternoon. I thought I woke up like,
Yeah,
oh fuck, was it like 5 in the morning? It's like 2 in the afternoon. There's no window,
yeah, because it's
and
just
there was
pitch black.
stories that there was haunted because you heard if you slept in that condo at night, you would hear noises upstairs all the time. There's nobody up there.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, and it goes to that thing. It adds to the rooms where I've been passed to headline. Dangerfield's got bumped to headline, closed.
yeah,
Oklahoma City, I got bumped to headline at Looney Bin, closed. Oklahoma City,
yeah,
now Wichita. Tulsa's still open, I think, right? And
yeah.
Little
That's where I'm
Rock, those
going.
guys took it over.
Tulsa and Little Rock still open.
Be sure to tell them. Be sure. I messaged the guy who took it over. He says he's going to try to find me some dates. So when you see him, say, hey, you need to get the recently widowed Dougie Almeida here to get him out of his house and help him
Will
find
do.
some pussy. Um,
That's the name of your
but
tour.
yeah, find me some pussy. But yeah, well, I want to thank my good buddy Steve McGrew for joining us today on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. And where can they catch you? We got some things you just mentioned. Where are you coming?
Just all over. I'm addicted to social media, so I'm all over Twitter, Facebook. I always just tell people to Google Steve Mudflap McGrew.
Yeah, there you go. That's simple. And like I said, this weekend I'm going to be at the Funny Bone in St. Louis. What am I talking about? Sorry, Cincinnati, Ohio. This weekend, the Funny Bone in Cincinnati, Ohio, open for Steve Trevino. Go to DougieAlmeida.com for more dates, and of course at Dougie Dangerous on Instagram to catch all my reels, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's starting to get bigger, so I appreciate that. And go to our YouTube channel here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. Subscribe to us there as well. Aside from that, guys, I may have a show next week, depending how I feel. See if we can find a guest. See if I can get out of this moldrum or doldrum type feeling. And I miss you, baby. Love you. And you are the best. And I'll see you sometime, hopefully not too soon, but I'll see you again soon. God bless everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
I'm not psycho. Wake up.
Wake up.